everyone. This is our first day in the life. You guys asked for it, so we are going to attempt to do a day in the life of a big dog mom. So as you can see, that day starts out quite early. I usually wake up between 4 and 4:30. Most days I go to the gym very early, but today I'm not going until 8:45. This is a very typical morning. Let's see if you can see. Junior and Sully snooze and snooze for a very long time in the morning and have to be coaxed basically to go outside most mornings. That is unless I fix breakfast and then they come running for a treat and then they'll go outside. So I wanted to just take you along with me for the day. Today, I'm gonna actually make up some bone broth. We've got some nail trimming to do. It's kind of grooming day for the dogs. So I thought I would just bring you guys along for quite a few of the things that we have to do today with the dogs. So you could see just a true day in the life. I homeschool as well, so you'll see a little bit of that too. I've got to work with my daughter. My son and husband are actually away this weekend. It's actually a perfect weekend to get a bunch of videos done. So hopefully you enjoy that. But again, yeah, we're starting quite early. I'm going to have another couple cups of coffee and get some work done, I think, before I head to the gym. And then we will check back periodically throughout the day so you can kind of see what we have going on. Okay, as I grab another cup of coffee, I wanted to just share really quick. So one of the things that I'm working on this morning, it is 6:15 by the way. As many of you know, Junior and Sully have been on a weight loss journey of sorts, and we are stuck on about 10 pounds for each dog. I would love for Sully to lose a little bit more weight, but we kind of are at a standstill, if you will. And so it's been a little frustrating to kind of figure out how to get past the plateau that we seem to be on. I've been busy working on really some calculations to try to better calculate and manage how many calories they're getting in a day. And that's not an easy task, especially when it comes to feeding raw food. I have quite a bit of work to do today before we prep meals tomorrow to kind of figure out, am I giving the right amount of calories for each meal? So over the last month, we've been feeding the dogs kibble. Actually, it's Acana Fit and Lean or something to that effect. Let's see. It's this one. Yeah, Acana Light Fit is what we've been feeding them because I was unable to get our raw ordered and they were out of things. The raw last month didn't really quite work out. The next best thing, and I don't beat myself up, so I will just tell you that if we end up feeding kibble or partial kibble, just because that's what we can do financially or through just supply, that's what we're gonna do, and I'm not gonna feel a bit of guilt about it. But ideally, we feed 100% raw 100% of the time. Just doesn't always work out that way. So I have a bunch of resources here which we will go into more detail in a future video with all of the calculations, and once I kind of have my brain wrapped around exactly what we're doing, I will for sure be sharing that. But that's one of the big projects for me today. If you have a dog that needs to lose a little bit of weight, hopefully this will be of some benefit and help to you as you kind of watch me walk through this process. The other thing that I'm working on is, if you're not a subscriber to Big Dog Mom, you definitely want to be. I'll put links for that down below in the description. But last night I sent a newsletter that just basically shared one of the other things that we're working on, and that is trying to figure out a solution, a fence solution for our new home and our property. So we have several acres that we need to fence in. A physical fence is not allowed by our HOA, and keeping it as is without a fence or without anything is not a solution either. So the reason is, while our driveway is fairly long and there's a distance between our house and the private road that we live on, people do walk on that road. And dogs, while they don't have a great ability to see and differentiate people and humans within, 10, 20 feet, they do have the ability to see movement. And so when the dogs see people walking down the road, most often with other dogs, Sully and Junior just, they feel compelled to go say hello, which is not always welcome by the people walking, as you can imagine. So oftentimes it's people with small dogs, and to see two giant dogs barreling down our driveway is not anything that any of us want. And while I have no fear of Sully and Junior fighting with another dog or going after anybody, not even an ounce of concern, it's still not appropriate. And we can't predict what another dog will do or what another human will do. So out of an abundance of caution, we have been just very careful around, what we're doing now because we don't have a fence. But I have been trying to research fencing options. In the past, while I don't love invisible fences, years and years and years ago with our first Mastiff, we did have an invisible fence because that was just the nature of the yard that we had, and we had to have something. And we did bury the wire, and we did the whole training and all of that stuff. It's not difficult, but to bury wire on our current property is no easy task. And so I had the invisible fence company come out and give me an estimate of how much it would cost. Their estimate was over $2,600, which I would never spend in a million years. So now I am trying to think through, okay, well, what are my other options? I reached out to a company that makes a geofence, which basically just works. You're probably more familiar with geofencing than I was, but basically you mark the boundaries of your property, and then the unit itself basically connects those dots. That would be ideal for where we live. However, the company, it seems like an amazing company. It's based here in the United States. It's like all good things, but the largest size they have only goes up to 26 inches around, which is not even close to even Sully, who's not a huge Mastiff by any stretch. Sully's neck, when I measured him, if it was fit tight, is 29 inches. And Junior's is it's a little over 35 inches. Those collars just aren't gonna work at all. So I am doing some research to kind of figure out another option. I reached out to that company to see, are there any other ways are you working on a larger breed, a larger size collar, an extra large, that would fit giant breed dogs? And they said no. The person that I talked to wasn't super interested in really being very helpful at all, unfortunately. And I had suggested, well, could you take the unit off and then just put it on another collar that would fit the dogs? And they said, no, it has to stay on that collar. There's no other solution. So they were quite unhelpful, unfortunately. But nonetheless, yeah, that's another project that we need to find a solution for pretty quickly. So if you happen to have any ideas, if you use something similar to this, like a geofence, if you have an idea or a suggestion, I am all ears, because we've got okay. Medicine for Junior for his wobbler syndrome and hip dysplasia. And we're going to add this Lubrisyn HA with MSM. So that is about 3 teaspoons, and I give Sully a little bit as well. So mostly for Junior, but also for Sully. And then I'm also going to give them their organic sea kelp. And then the only other thing I'm going to give them this morning, which I vary what I give them in terms of supplements, and I will do an entire video on supplements at some point here. Probably tomorrow is my goal. Sorry about all the sound here. The only other thing I'm going to give them this morning is their probiotic. And I've talked about this one, Daily Dog by Full Bucket Health. So this one I love. It is a staple for every single day. So they just get 1 scoop. Again, sorry about the noise. Hopefully it's not too bad. So Junior gets 1. And Silly gets 1. Here we go. So that's basically all I'm going to do for this morning because I am in a little bit of a rush at this point. Junie, cheers first. Silly. You're so crazy. Come here, Sully. Come on. Okay. Junie. Come on, June. Let's go. Junior. Come on. Come on. Hold on. Huh? Okay, come. My daughter is working on her math. I figured I would run a quick errand, so I thought I'd just bring you guys along. I can't actually work with my daughter until she's done with that. This afternoon will be pretty heavy with homeschool, so I may not be able to check in too much. Thought I would go ahead and bring up a couple of additional subjects that I wanted to chat with you about in this day in a life in my newsletter in the Big Dog Weekly. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure you do that down below in the description. But in there, I talked about, there were a couple of articles, and this actually started a few weeks ago. I started to see some news articles that questioned whether having pet insurance is actually worth the money. And I think it's a really good question. And quite honestly,
I felt like in the short period of time when we had our Labrador and our first Mastiff, we did have pet insurance. It was in the early days of pet insurance, and I felt like it was worth the money. Our Labrador ended up being diagnosed with mast cell cancer at age 3 and had surgery, and he lived to be almost 16. For him, and we didn't have the pet insurance his whole lifetime, but for the period that we did and when he was diagnosed and had his surgery, I certainly felt that I was happy to have the health insurance. Now, our Mastiff never really had any health issues, and so for her, it may not have made a lot of sense to have it, although she was diagnosed with bone cancer when she was almost 10 years old. For her, maybe that would have made sense then at that point, but we didn't decide, given all of the circumstances, to do much other than make sure that she was comfortable. I'm not sure whether for either dog it really would have made sense to have pet insurance for their entire lifetimes. That said, there are lots of dog owners, big dog owners, that swear by having pet insurance. And quite honestly, I have recommended it on Big Dog Mom and on numerous newsletters and on this YouTube channel. But I have recommended it just purely based on the theoretical benefit, the what you would assume would be benefit, right? Like that, well, obviously it would be better to have it in the case of some catastrophic event, an accident, or, a diagnosis of cancer or anything like that. But how often does that happen? And what are the chances of that happening, I guess maybe is the better question. Now, I have not seen any research or articles that are specific to big dog owners and for large and giant breed dogs. And so that's where that survey comes into play. What I ultimately want to answer is, does pet insurance make sense for large and giant breed dogs and dog owners? I'm hopeful that you guys will be able to help me out with that. If you could share it with friends, even if you have any, big dog friends that have pet insurance, share the survey with them. The more people we have fill it out, the more data we have, obviously, the more impactful the results and the conclusions will be for all of us. I'm just one of those people that needs to find out for myself, and one of the best ways to do that is to survey real dog owners that have, real experiences. I am an affiliate for a few different, so Trupanion is one, and Embrace Pet Insurance, and those are the two that I have most often recommended. Healthy Paws is another one, but I don't feel right about getting an affiliate commission for something that I'm not comfortable recommending. Depending upon the results of this survey will determine my future relationship with any pet insurance companies. I will be perfectly transparent. I would never promote something or recommend something if I wouldn't get it myself. And the only reason we don't have it is that I quit my job right around the time that we got Junior, and it was simply my own frugality, and I regret that now, but who knows? But let's just see what the survey says. Again, I will put the link to the survey. It's just a SurveyMonkey survey. It's 10 questions. It should be super quick. The only people that need to fill it out are people that have a larger giant breed dog that have that dog insured with pet insurance. My focus is in large and giant breed dogs and serving you guys as their owners. When a study or when information comes out that says, you should get pet insurance, rarely are they specifically talking about large and giant breed dogs. And that's really where I see the value of this channel and what we're doing here together as a community. Let's work together on answering this question once and for all.
So now I'm home. My daughter is still working on some homeschool stuff before she and I work together. I just got the dog's nails trimmed, which I didn't record for this, but I actually decided to record a whole separate video because quite honestly, it's not a quick process. And so I figured you wouldn't want this day in the life to be over an hour long. I will probably post this day in the life first and then the nail trimming video after that. Just stay tuned, make sure that you're subscribed and that you turn those notifications on so that you don't miss it. So if you are interested in the topic of nail trimming, I basically sit down, trim both dogs' nails, and then answer some questions and then just give some tips and advice from my experience, long time experience trimming dog nails in a force-free, fear-free way. That is what I just finished. And in fact, I can show you the aftermath. I call this my Dremel finger. It's so stubby and ugly. I always shave off basically half the nail. It's pretty sad. But I joke that, there's no way I could ever have fingernail polish on these nasty nails. So, because with the Dremel alone, I end up shaving my nail off. It's so silly. But in any event, if you ever see a video where my nails are painted, that is probably because they were just painted like 5 minutes before I turned the camera on, because otherwise the nail polish just does not stay. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you share that same experience and that same frustration with nail polish. I don't know how people do it. Nonetheless, I think if you have kids and you have dogs and any type of cleaning in your life, there's no way that nail polish stays on. And I just refuse to spend money on that kind of stuff, but that's me. I figured I would turn the camera on and share the experience of cleaning our floors, because that is one of those things that if you're looking for a day in the life of a big dog owner, cleaning floors and sweeping up hair is definitely something that you can look forward to if you're not already a big dog owner. So. Okay, so now that we got the floors done, I am gonna actually sit down and take a break. I did wanna show you really quick though. Here's our bone broth that we put in this morning. So we're gonna let that go until tomorrow morning. I think I started it at 5, so I usually let that go about 24 hours. This will continue to brew all night. Here, let's see if we can see that. It's actually probably a little too full today, but we're gonna just go with it. I pour my bone broth into little paw print molds. If you haven't seen the post that I did, the actual video tutorial that I did on how to make bone broth, that would be something I would encourage you to check out because these turn out absolutely perfect. So that's what this looks like. And then here's a little paw print. These are just the best little treat. You can give them as a treat. You can put them in your dog's food, but they're amazing and awesome and super easy. I had a whole bunch of bones left over in the freezer, so I decided to make those to make room for our raw food that's coming tomorrow. I will put a link in the description below with the video tutorial and the blog post that goes along with how to make bone broth. So now I am going to actually take a little bit of a break. And there's June. Hi, June. I'm going to take a break and eat a Built Bar. I don't know if you can see that or if it's backwards. I think it's backwards. Built Bar is amazing. I don't know if you've ever tried one, but since I joined CrossFit, one of the people at the gym told me about Built Bar, and this is a salted caramel. It's maybe the most delectable candy bar, protein bar. It's actually a protein bar, but it tastes just like a candy bar. Junie wants one, but you're not gonna eat one because this is like gold. It's for mommy. I will put a link down below for Built Bar if you're interested in trying them. They literally are a protein bar with low carbs,
high protein, and as it says here, zero guilt. I just love Built Bar as like an afternoon snack when I sit down and just relax, because I am actually pretty tired. We've still got quite a bit to do. My daughter still is finishing up, which she still needs to take a science test today, and we need to go over her history, Bible, and literature. We use the Sunlight curriculum with both of our kids, and since my son is gone, I'm gonna sit down and work with my high schooler. We need some one-on-one mommy-daughter time, which is awesome.
Are you guys excited to go on a walk? Are you excited to go on a walk?
Yeah. I'm gonna wear yours.
Okay, because mine's cute.
It's cuter.
Doesn't have slobber on it.
Yeah, it doesn't have salt on it. Okay. All right. I decided, since the weather is, well, it's chilly and windy, but it's relatively nice, I thought, oh, maybe we'll just take the dogs for a walk. Because it's still light out and they've been cooped up all day, I thought we would do that to have some fun. Come on, guys. Here. You guys ready? Should we go for a walk? Okay. All right. Let's do this. Come on, Saul. Do you have to go potty first? Yeah, maybe we'll take a break here for 1 second, have them go potty. Okay, we're gonna try this again after now 2 times the dogs going in the opposite direction of each other. I'm sure you can appreciate that. Okay, now we're moving. Here we go. Here's Junie. Here's Saul, come on. Let's go, Saul. We are going to flip you around here. Okay, come on. Let's go. There they are. There's the puppies. Getting a little exercise. Okay, so one of the things I will say, you know, I mentioned this morning that I was kind of frustrated with, stay on this side, guys. I was frustrated with their lack of progress in terms of losing weight. And I will be honest and say part of it is my fault in that as much as I would love to walk them every day, it is just over the winter it was a little hard to commit to that every single day. I think if I had done the diet that we had planned and been consistent with it, but if I was more consistent with their exercise, I actually think they would have lost a lot more. They would have made more progress. Let's put it that way. The boys have each lost about 10 pounds, and that's great, and that's meaningful weight. So it's not to minimize how hard we've been working, but I will say, come on, you're walking very slow. Here. This is what happens towards the end of a walk. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Turkeys. I don't know if you can hear that. We have tons of wild turkeys around here, and they are the cutest thing in the entire world. Oh, I hope you can hear that. It's so cool. They come in our yard pretty often. We call them our turkeys. Although my son, I won't mention it. He is excited to go hunting And he talks about our turkeys, which of course my daughter says they're our turkeys. They're like our pets, and so you don't hurt your pets. But anyway, it's just a funny family joke that I won't go into. Anyway, yeah, so the weight loss. I think that if I were doing a better, more consistent job at exercise, plus the diet, I think that they would be where I really wanted them to be. Somebody told me on, I think it was Instagram, that, you know, they didn't gain all of that weight overnight, and so you shouldn't expect them to lose it overnight either. And I don't expect that, but I think just being really patient with the process is about all I can do. Hey, come on. Junie, what do you smell? You smell something. Here. Now this is the challenge with, wait, 2 dogs. Come on, guys. June. Oh, it must be, some other dog or something. All right, let's go, June. Can you go potty? Okay, come on. Let's go, so. Come, up, up, up. Come on, up, up, up. Okay. That's the only problem with walking 2 dogs is that it's a very slow walk. Come on, June. Okay. If you are going through a similar struggle, or you're on a weight loss journey with your dog, I'd love to hear more about it. What tips or advice do you have? Yeah, it's a journey, and you know, my boys may be at this weight till the end, and if they are, they're not unhealthy. I mean, as you can tell, Sully actually, he used to fit he was snug in this harness, this Kurgo harness that he's got on, but you can see now it's pretty loose. He, around his chest and stuff, and I haven't loosened the straps at all, so that's pretty impressive. Come on, Junie. Come on. Junie has never really needed to lose weight, but he just is a big boy. This was a good walk, and I think the boys needed to get outside. As cold as it is, sometimes that's the hardest thing, is just getting myself motivated to go be out in the cold. I may check back one more time before we end the evening tonight, just so you can see kind of how we normally end our evenings with the dogs. And you'll have to let me know in the comments, like, what else are you interested in seeing? I think especially for those of you who are thinking about getting a big dog and have specific questions about living with big dogs, I would be happy to address, you know, those sorts of things too in a day in the life, so you can kind of see what real life is like. I didn't show even a fraction of it today, but hopefully you have enjoyed this. All right, we are almost home. I need to get the harness off and get some dinner because I am starving to death. Here in the Big Dog Mom house. Here's Junior. He's already pretty much sleeping. And there's Sally. Let's see if I can get him. There he is. Yeah, so the boys are ready for bed, and so am I. You can tell my eyes get more and more red with every video here. I think we are going to sign off for the evening. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the day. I hope you enjoyed this day in the life. If you would like to see anything in particular, as I mentioned before, I'm more than happy to do a part 2 of this. and answer any questions that you might have. Put those in the comments below. And don't forget, there are a bunch of links down in the description of many of the things that we talked about today. So several of those blog posts and links to various items that I'm not going to relist here. But nonetheless, make sure you check the description. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any future videos. And give this video a like if you enjoy day in the life videos. It helps me to know what type of content you guys enjoy watching. With that, thank you so much for watching this first day in the life of Big Dog Mom, and we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.